I'm Mr. Mauser Man, and welcome to Gun01, a series where I cover basic firearms knowledge at a level anyone can understand. Now, the point of this first season is to cover all of the information that someone would need to know in order to be a safe first-time gun owner and have a good first trip to the range. The first thing we are going to cover is the 4 universal gun safety rules. While these may seem elementary to some, they are absolutely essential to know, and it's my opinion that everyone should know them, even people who never plan on being around or using firearms. Now, the nice thing is that there is some redundancy built in, so usually you need to break 2 or 3 of the rules before a seriously bad accident can happen. Also, the nice thing is you can start by just remembering these 4 words. Treat, never, keep, no. Number 1, treat every firearm like it is loaded. Now, in my opinion, most accidents happen because somebody is handling a firearm in a way that you would guess that they think that it's not loaded, and then, surprise, they find out that it is. Even an unloaded gun is a serious thing and should not be treated like a toy. Even if you are certain your gun is unloaded, you still need to treat it with respect as a deadly weapon. As you gain a little bit more knowledge, you might modify this rule a little bit to be treat every firearm like it is loaded until you have personally verified that it is not. For some training techniques, you are going to treat your gun like it is unloaded. And for some firearms, you need to treat it like it's unloaded for regular maintenance and cleaning. For example, this Beretta APX A1 requires that I pull the trigger in order for it to be disassembled. I would not pull the trigger on a loaded firearm inside of my house, but I do need to pull the trigger on this gun to take it apart. So before I do that, I'm going to check to make sure it's not loaded. Then I'll pull the trigger and continue taking it apart. Number 2, never let the barrel point at anything you don't want to destroy. You can imagine that there is an invisible laser coming out the front end of your firearm, and it is dangerous to anyone that it touches, including people and pets. Now, we call pointing a gun at another person flagging them, and you want to be very careful that you don't flag other people or animals around you. One example of this in the practical world is that one shooting range I go to has a highway in the background. So, while I am walking back towards the highway, I'm going to make sure that whatever gun I'm holding is pointed at the ground or still pointed towards the targets. This is just the safest thing to do. Number 3, keep your finger off the trigger until you are ready to shoot. This, in my opinion, is the second most common cause of accidents because people accidentally have their finger on the trigger and pull it before they mean to. This right here is called the trigger guard, and I think it's really important that you have your fingers outside of the trigger guard until you are aiming at the target. It is incredibly easy to accidentally pull the trigger if you are startled or if you're just not paying attention, unless you have a gun revolver.
Use 2 fingers.
Most people choose to just keep their pointer finger on the frame of the gun pointing forward ahead of the trigger like that. Number 4, know your target and what is behind your target. This one has 2 parts. Number 1, know your target. Know what you're aiming at and aim at it well. Well, it's really fun to shoot guns fast, and in certain settings it is safe to shoot guns fast. It's important you know where all of those bullets are going. If you're shooting so fast that bullets are going way off to the sides or above, that is unsafe. In an active situation, this also means that you need to know that what you're shooting at is actually what you want to be shooting at. Is that deer actually a deer and not just a guy wearing camouflage? Is that shape at the edge of your hallway actually a bad guy and not a family member or a laundry basket somebody left out? It's important that you know that what you're shooting at is actually what you want to be shooting at. Second, know what is behind your target. Bullets tend to go through things, and sometimes they miss targets altogether. If the bullet goes past your target, where will it end up? This might mean people, this might be animals. At one range I was at, it was a friend's land, and behind, in one area, there were some pivots used for farming. Those pivots are very expensive and I don't want to shoot them. so we shot in the other direction. Most ranges are going to have a big pile of dirt behind the targets called a berm. That berm is the place where the bullets are supposed to go. You should make sure that all of your bullets go into the bullet stop and not over it. Treat, never, keep, no. These are the 4 universal rules of gun safety. And next week we're going to cover some additional rules that, while not as universal, are still very important.